When I meditate upon the truth, I feel the presence of God fill my consciousness and touch my heart. This clarity informs my thoughts, words, and actions, bringing my faith to vivid life. And from 1 Corinthians 13:12, for now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part. Then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And so my share on this has to do with a personal experience that was not, it didn't bring me joy, let's put it that way. And I was trying to make a connection with a family member who has not been connected with me for many years, and it didn't work. And so in processing that, I'm realizing there's pieces I do not know. There's reasons, experiences, emotions that I don't know. And so I am looking at the situation dimly right now. And my faith tells me that hindsight is 20/20. And so at a future time, I may be able to look back and see what this experience had to, the fruit it had to bear for each of us in our lives. But right now, it's like a seed underground, and I don't see the bloom yet. But I know that my faith will keep nurturing that seed so that at some point I can say, now that makes sense, and feel some healing and closure moving forward. So that's my share for that. Okay. And now it is time for our speaker. Oh, wait a minute. It's the first Sunday of the month. Off the speaker goes for our Unity mission and vision statements. Only on the first Sundays. Join me in heart and mind as we affirm our mission and vision. And our mission statement: we are a welcoming and open-hearted community, inspiring each other to live in love, joy, and service. And our vision statement: for those in person together, we enrich our world through spirit-centered service, positive human connections, and stewardship of all creation. Thank you. And it's very powerful to have the voice in back of the affirmation. And now our speaker, Rev Neal Worthington, will share the message with us.
Thank you, Donna. I don't want to get up here too early. When I considered a theme for the month, well, I don't call it a theme so much as I call it a series, newness of life came to me. Of course, in December, we had the theme of life, but now we have a new year, and newness of life is what came to me. I remember that a verse from Christian scriptures, one of those things I learned when I was probably a very young child. And it's this in 1 Corinthians: if anyone be in Christ, he is a new creature. Of course, in the King James Version, it's going to be he, and it's going to be a little bit antiquated in terms of language. But if anybody be in Christ, he is a new creature. He, she is a new creature. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. And I want to give some fresh life to that for me, and hopefully for you this morning as well. So I metaphrased it, as I like making up words. I'm calling it metaphrasing, which means to paraphrase something with a metaphysical bent. And here's what I came up with for that same scripture. Because the Christ is in every one of us, there is new creation. Everything old has passed away. See, everything has become new. Well, as I contemplated this scripture, another bit of literature came to me, but that's quite a bit different. And I'm sure you will remember it. Remember that Disney movie called The Lion King, and particularly that key song in the movie, The Circle of Life. Well, you remember the story. It wasn't an easy road for Simba, that young lion, that infant to start with in the movie, nor was it easy for Mustafa, the Lion King at that point, or any of the other characters along the way. A lot of things came into their lives. A lot of things were mistakes that they made. Simba made a number of mistakes in the course of the movie, and it just was a little bit of a mess. It was a little bit of chaos, but a lot of things had to pass. The old had to pass. The old had to be let go before the story could conclude. And I really like the story, and I particularly like that Circle of Life song. You remember it, it started with that beautiful Zulu chant, Ingonyama Nengwanama Bala. I have a hard time saying that. I can tell I don't know Zulu. But that beautiful chant, that underlying chant. And then it went on to say, from the day we arrive on the planet and blinking step into the sun, there's more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done. There's far too much to take in here, more to find than can ever be found. But the sun rolling high through the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round. It's the circle of life, and it goes on into that beautiful chorus. So there I am thinking, this is the circle of life. It's a very natural process. We leave behind what is old and we embrace the new. That's what I'd like to talk about today, particularly for us discerning what is old, what's decaying, what needs to be let go. Secondly, how some of that that's old for us may be used to support new life. And then, of course, eliminating that old stuff that would impede us as we go on our spiritual journey. So I came up with a title: No Life, No Juice, No Growth. No life, no juice. But in the process of this message this morning, we're going to go from no, Donna said a lot of no's, we're going to go from the no's to the very positive assertion of truth. So what's this all about? When we think of the no's and the things that we need to let go, we think of, I was thinking of a number of things, but I come up with a few that were particularly poignant. The no is sometimes stinky. It's old, it's stinky. It's something we need to get rid of. But it's also something that is can be used as an impetus to growth. That stinky can be fertilizer, if you will. I'm looking at Ram here in person, for those of you who are not here. I was at Ram's beautiful organic farm, a couple of weeks ago. And some of the old growth that was covering those garden beds needed to be removed. I don't remember it being particularly stinky, but you get the idea. And then what happened? That same growth that was dead and gone had been thrown on the compost pile. It had seasoned, it had gotten ready for being a nutrient to enrich and amend that soil, and then we put that new impetus, that fertilizer. So whatever is stinky in your life, look at it a little bit. It may be something that will fertilize your growth going ahead. Fertilize the newness and the excitement for life. Then I thought of the word stagnant. I think of a stagnant pool with some scummy stuff kind of forming on it. And it's not very pretty, and you don't want to dip your hand into it. You don't want to wade into it. But you know what happens? When newness comes, when fresh water comes into that pool, that stagnant material is flushed away. So that's the same for us. There's stuff that's just stagnating in our lives. And with a fresh, new sense of life, we can see that stagnated material flowing away. And I think of one of the things that's true for me particularly, and that things are worn out. I've had patterns in my life. I've had habits in my life that are worn out. They're just overdue for change. And when I'm able to recognize that, and here's the challenge, recognizing it. When I'm able to bring that into my awareness, I can let that go. And I can welcome that which is new. But sometimes there's not space for what's new until I do let that go. And so I look to release that so that there is a space. You know, nature abhors a vacuum. So if I'm able to make space, there's going to be an opportunity for that to build. And I also have the choice to fill that with what I know is life-giving as opposed to taking away from life. I also think when I think about the old, I think of what's become useless. I like the word, and I think of something useless, repurposing. And take that that's in my life and give it new purpose and make it useful again. So even that which is useless may be a starting point for new life. And finally, there's backward thinking, which ends up being replaced by forward thinking as we go from the negative to the positive. We let go of that backward thinking. It's so often that we're oriented toward what happened in the past, the emotions that went with that. And as we're able to let that go, that past present sense, it kind of goes with the present, and really ground ourselves in the present moment, we're able to go from life deadening to life awakening. I like that. And so then we move from the past present away to the present, and that allows us to move into the present future. I love that idea that the future, that which is ahead of me, is going to be rewarding. It's going to be not encumbered by all of that old stuff. It's going to be new life. So then I come back to that title. Instead of saying no life, no juice, no growth, I say life. I say juice, that is vitality. I say growth, that is expansion. It's our very nature to be expansive and expanding as spiritual creations. So why, in fact, would we want to do this? Because the fact is, some of that old stuff hanging around is kind of comfortable. We don't really want to stir the pot too much. That's the way we've always done it, and it's a comfortable place. Well, we want to change that because it impedes our growth. It keeps us from growth, like back in the garden. If that soil is not worked up, if it's not amended, if that old dead growth is not taken away, the harvest is going to be a little bit more slim. We're not going to get what we really want. Same is true in our lives. All of those old things that have outlived their usefulness, when they're allowed to be taken away, when we can look toward nurturing the new and bringing it in, filling that vacuum, that space, then we have growth. Then we have life. Then we have juice. Sometimes those things that are in our life, and they can be a number of things, they can be people, associations. They can be habits, like I said, or patterns in our life, or beliefs even. All of these things, as they have outlived their usefulness, prevent us really from growing. I really had one of those things happen. It was a very momentous thing for me in my life about 10 years ago, when a new spiritual me was ready to be born. And I was mired in, enmeshed in a sticky, dysfunctional relationship that prevented me from moving forward. On some level, I had been comfortable with it, but that relationship just had outlived any usefulness that it had, and it had to be let go. Wasn't an easy process of doing the letting go. But when I did, then my love for the metaphysical teaching that was there was able to bloom and blossom, but not until I got rid of some of that old stuff and that old association that was holding me back. So that will prevent, that's so important for us to be able to rid ourselves of any of those things, be they belief associations, be they habits, patterns. As we're able to let them go, we are able to go ahead and grow. Remember, until you let them go, that space is going to be filled. You may not have that empty space in which you can choose to make something that is, take something and bring it in that is life-giving. So we got back to the message, and we're really saying it and affirming it. Life, juice, growth. That's what I'm all about. So how do we do that? We always get down to that. And Tom's got a slide he's going to put up for us. Let's see if we can get it up here. Oh, and Ed, would you pack? I have a handout. It's going to have much the same information. Or do you have it already? If anybody doesn't have it, Ed will get that to them. We're working on getting it. There we go. Does everybody have one of those? And if you're with us virtually, you have it there on the screen. We're going to take down, we're going to note everyone that's with us virtually here. If you're doing it by listening to a recording at a later point, remember my email, neal.unityofpace, and Neal spelled N-E-A-L, @gmail.com, and send me a note and say, send me that handout. I really need it. That way it'll keep you from having a copy. So when we're looking at that handout, how do we do this? First of all, we identify what's not life-giving. We access the wisdom that we have within. Remember that we're fully human, yes, but fully divine, and we have within us the wisdom, the power of wisdom. And as we're able to access that, and that's part of our journey and part of what we work with, the silence so critical to accessing that wisdom from within. We access that wisdom, but we also have some helps that are just ordinary here for us. Helps like, how does this feel? You know, we may seem comfortable with something, but at the same time feel terrible. So a question that we can ask ourselves on a day-to-day level is, how does it feel? We had the word of clarity for the daily word in our metaphysical moment this morning. Is your life muddied up? Maybe there's something that needs to be released. Are you confused? Maybe there's something that you need to let go and allow for that clarity and that newness of life to come in. And look at something and say, is it comfortable? And then ask the second question, is it comfortable just because I've done it this way a long time? Or is it comfortable because it fits me, it suits me? So access that inner wisdom. Take those cues from everyday life and become aware of those things that it's time for you to let go. Then I think a second way to do that is to pivot to newness of life. I don't like the word pivot. It's kind of, I was in the Army. Anybody in the Army? Well, if you were, you learned the about face, to turn about 180 degrees and go the other way. We have the power of choice and the ability to pivot. So I'm suggesting that what we do is to choose pivots ahead of time. Know where we become aware of some of those things that are difficult for us, those things that we need to let go and that will tantalize us and pull us in. Well, choose a pivot ahead of time. And I gave you some, you see them on the screen there, a couple of, these are not ones you need to claim. This is just an example. I put a blank space at the bottom because that's where you're going to put what you have, that very issue, that old practice that's a part of your life that you're going to let go and that you're going to pivot from that. And but let's just to give you an idea, let's look at those. For me, at some times in the past, it's been fantasy and escape. Sometimes I just don't want to get to what I know is mine to do, and I escape. I find ways to escape. I read, or I watch TV, or I just fiddle around and I fantasize. And in my fantasy, I don't really affirm anything. I just kind of play with some fluff. And but the other, when you pivot from that to actually knowing what it is you desire in your life and visualizing that. So it's a beautiful pivot. You see the correlation moving from fantasy to visualization as we draw into our life that we're creating our experience. And these are beliefs or things that are set in, and I've been in these places a couple of times too. I will never do it. I think about this when I think about, I'm often inspired to write some things, and I've gotten things that I've started, and I just know that they're good, that they're coming from a great place within me. But at some point I say, well, I guess I'm never going to do that. Well, you know, you can pivot. You pivot to, of course, the affirmation, I am a creator. And then an action. I will do something today. I don't care how small it is, but I will do something today about that. Example, I am unworthy. This belief needs to get some releasing. It really will hold you back. It has held me back. To affirm, I am of infinite value when I pivot, and I treat myself that way. That's the action, going on and treating yourself as being of infinite value. And then one other, I am poor. Often we have abundance issues. And the pivot from this is to say, I am heir to unlimited abundance. And then to expect it and to be open in whatever way that is going to come to us. So often we think, well, it's got to come this way. It's got to come because I'm going to earn it in a bigger paycheck. It's got to come because I'm going to have a rich uncle. It's going to pass it on to me. I'm going to win the lottery. And that's not what we're talking about. The action here would be to open yourself to however the universe wants to deliver that abundance. Now, take your issue, take that's in you that you know it's time to release, and put that there. And then find an affirmation, find an action that you can take to move that along and to move from that no life to life, from that no juice to juice, from that no growth to abundant and verdant growth. Thank you, Tom. So looking at that, let's go back to the very beginning. Remember, we were talking about discerning what we need to let go. We're talking about looking to see how that could encourage things in the future, how that could encourage newness, how that could feed and nurture even those experiences, and then how we can know what is ours to let go and eliminate that deadness or that dying stuff from our experience. The Lion King, the circle of life. I love that chorus from this, and I want to share that with you. I wish I could sing it. And I wish Disney didn't have a copyright that we have to observe, but they do. And I can't sing it very well, but sing it with me in your mind. It's the circle of life, and it moves us all through despair and hope, through faith and love, till we find our place on the path unwinding in the circle of life. So I challenge you today to know where you are on that circle, to know what's yours to release and let go. And then to welcome, in whatever way it comes, that life that is your legacy, that is your inheritance, that's there waiting for you as you choose it. And so it is.
So now, thank you, Reverend Neal. Let's prepare for meditation as we listen to our meditation song, This Inner Space.
Pause for a second. I'm gonna have to reboot everything.
I'm going to go ahead with
Whitestone.
we'll do first. We'll do the meditation. Right ahead with that. We're experiencing one of our technical challenges. We're going to let go technical challenges. I'm going to let that go. But will you take time with me to just be quiet? I really like focusing on breathing as being a place where we can just be who we are and nothing more. So would you breathe with me? I do it this way. I'll just share how I do it. I breathe into a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hold it for a count of 4. And then I breathe out to a count of 8. And then at the very bottom, when there's no air in my lungs, I do a count of 4. So that or something similar to that. That or something similar to that. Let's engage now as we just go into that quiet space and notice nothing more than our breathing. Breathing in. Breathing out. Again, breathing in. And out. Once more. Breathe in. No. We don't want to focus too long or too strongly on that which we don't want in our life, but we want to recognize it. So this morning, as you are in this quiet place with me, you have an access to your inner wisdom. So imagine yourself on a journey, a winding path, And you begin, and everything seems normal as you walk down that path. And suddenly you begin to notice to the left and to the right some things that just aren't working for you. Some things that have been in your life maybe for decades. And it's time to release, time to let go. You see one here, a belief there, a practice on the other side, and you just bring them to awareness. Bring them to awareness. Observe yourself as you wind down that path. And as you go a little further, notice that you're at a turning point. Now you begin to see things that you would draw into your life. You picture them crisply and in detail. They'll be unique to you. What is that you want to draw into your life? What is that's really life-giving for you? You're in a new year. It's a time for something life-giving, and you notice these things, and you see them in splendid and brilliant detail. And as you do, that sense of letting go is in the past, not to be focused on anymore. And you've pivoted and you're looking to what you're drawing into your life. Again, envision specifically at least one thing that you see at the side of that path that you're drawing into your life. Be grateful. Be grateful. You've spotted it. The divine within you has brought to the surface that which will give you life. Just sit for a moment and relish that. Bask in it. That life-giving sense in full and brilliant detail of the new person that you are becoming. It's a pretty attractive new you, isn't it? Hold on to that. Hold that in your thought. Hold that in your action. Hold that in your feeling and emotion. It is becoming so. So we leave that winding path to come back, bringing with us that sense within us of the newness of life that is ours. We bring our awareness back to the time and place where we are, with deep gratitude for the work that is happening in us. And so it is. line that meditation song up. Carry it with you. Carry it with you. There are lots of new things this morning. And it's hard to know which one to put first. And I think we're going to move to one of the great new things that's happening in 2022. We at Unity of Payson have 3 new members of our community. And we're going to go to a welcoming of them. One of them is here in the room. And Ram, can you come on up?
Sure.
We're gonna have you come on up here. And there are 2 others. If you can, oh, there you go. You see the names on the screen. Gene Humberg in Texas, Kay Butler in Alabama. Many of you don't know them. Some of you do. Blessed souls and great new members of this community. And as we prepare to welcome them, and I'm going to ask you to remember that blessing that we give whenever we're doing a thing, because we're going to bless these people after we welcome them in. Betty, go ahead and just read this little welcome.
So this is not just to our new members, but also as we are in the season of the new. Open your heart and see if this resonates for you also. But we want to especially honor our new members. Today is an outward acknowledgement of an inner process of growth and choice. Unity welcomes seekers of all paths, recognizing that we are all unique expressions of the divine. We are one, meant to be of service to each other and our community. We come together in love and support, creating a safe space where we are known by more than our name, known for who we truly are and for the path we have chosen. As we live together in the now, be joyful and grateful to have found a spiritual playground with friends to guide you, play with you, learn with you, and help you hold your higher vision. Together, let us watch in wonderment, expecting miracles as our lives unfold, bringing dreams to life with visions opening like flowers. May you live and grow with us in the garden of community called Unity of Payson.
Thank you, Betty, and I'm glad that you included all of us. I want Ram to come up here and stand beside me. Come on, Ram. And if you're looking at the screen, you see our 3 new members. Here, come on over a little so everybody can see you. Ram here, Kay Butler in pink. Is that pink? Whatever color it is. And Kay from Alabama and Gene from Texas joining us. It's an exciting new thing for us. We have members of Unity of Payson that can be anywhere now, and that's exciting. So for each of them, Gene and Kay, you're going to be getting something like this, which is a certificate of membership in the mail. It's not there. You probably don't have it in hand yet. And Ram, I want to present to you because you are here, the certificate of membership.
Thank you, thank you.
I would shake your right hand, but I know that it's difficult to do. Let me shake your left hand. Ram just had surgery on his right hand, and I'm shaking my hand. And we're delighted. All of these have worked with an understanding of Unity. Kate comes to us from Unity Atlanta, having been a member there for a number of years. And so we're delighted to have all of these. And now everyone, whether you be with us virtually or not, put up your hands as we always do. And we are blessing these who are our new members at Unity of Payson. We could say the same thing that we say, we love you, we bless you, and we welcome you. Thank you very much. Of course, at the end of the year and the beginning of a new, we have a little bit of a ritual. We don't have much ritual here at Unity Payson, but we have some. Ed, would you just pass out these little blank pieces of paper? Do you remember the burning bowl ceremony and how we may have done it before? Or you may have been with us and experienced it in some other setting. Well, it's a little different this year. We're not setting a fire inside the Board of Realtors here, but we are going to do what we've been talking about throughout this morning. We're going to take those old things that have surfaced, that have come to mind, and we're going to note them. If you're here in person and you don't have a pencil or a pen, we'll get you one. Rick and Ed are passing out. Can I have one here? I need one as well, and I need a pencil if you will. Somehow I didn't end up with one. Thank you. So that usual burning bowl, we would take and write on this piece of paper all those things that we're releasing at the end of the year and the beginning of a new one. We might put it on flash paper and we'd hold it to a candle and it'd be gone. Well, we're going to do it just a little bit differently, but I want to take you, give you a moment to just take and write down, and this is very good. If you're with us virtually, grab a pencil and paper, a marker, write it on your wrist. Well, no, that's not good. You'll have a hard time getting rid of it then. Write it on something that you can get rid of. You can't get rid of your wrist. But write these things out. I'm going to just give you a moment of quiet to take time. What has surfaced in your awareness? What is your inner wisdom telling you it's time to let this go? Take just a minute and write down all those things that come to your mind. Maybe just a few. You may be writing for the whole minute. What is it that you're going to let go? Here in the room, I see some people that are putting their pen down. We'll give you another few seconds to complete this. And then I'm going to ask you, Rick, would you take that wastebasket and set it right in the middle here in person? Because you're going to get to dispose of these later on. But as a symbol of letting go, I'd like you all virtually with us, if you've written it down, take your writing instrument, what you wrote with, hold it in your hand, put your fist right around that writing instrument, hold it out over a blank space, and let it go. That's a different kind of burning bowl, I know, but we've let it go. That symbol is there of letting go of that which doesn't serve us. Just set it right in the center there, so someplace close, so people can later on when they're going out, those that are here, and you, those of you who are with us, find some way to dispose of that. You could even go out in the backyard and bury it. You know, some way to dispose of that. Wad it up, do whatever you're going to do. Time to get rid of that. Do you feel a little bit lighter? I do. You can reclaim your pen or pencil later on after it's shed all of that stuff. I am so delighted to be a part of this community and so grateful for those of you that are with us. Grateful for you, our virtual audience, because it just expands us and allows us to grow. It's new life. And I am so delighted. So I think Donna will go on with the service now. and hand it back to you.
Thank you. I want to say welcome to our new members. And we had some welcoming in the chat as well. Ram, Jean, and Kay. So good that you're with us as part of our family. And now it is time to share our gifts and offerings. Unity of Payson appreciates your gifts in support of this ministry. These gifts not only support this spiritual community, but they also go out to the larger community with quarterly tithes. As you listen to the offering song, you'll have time to make a contribution. The offering basket will be passed in person. And if you're attending virtually, the information for giving is on the slides. If you go to unityofpayson.org and click on the Donate and Support tab. So now let's bring our attention to our gift. And let's call to mind our heart's desires. Let's take a moment. And what you let go of, call to mind the opposite, the pivot of what you let go of. And now let's say our offering affirmation together. Freely we give, and freely we receive. And our offering song is Planting Seeds by Daniel Nahmod. This is a great song.
I spent a long time running, I never knew then what I know now. That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds then, and we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around.
Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing
It's like
more.
your whole life you've been training for this moment, and when the time comes you just disown it, meaning you just surrender, don't control it. Not interested in the clay pots and mold it, or sitting next to the path trying to unfold it, or waiting for the fruits to fall down toward you. Let it go and now you're flowing, feeling quite gorgeous, so you take steps away instead of towards it. What a rush, feeling freedom with nothing to hold. We've been taught that what you touch will always turn to gold, and now we're learning when we let it go it overflows, with no credit to take, cause no credit is home. A higher power working deeper where the seeds are sowed, and when the seeds are true, then they're seeds of gold. But the real gold is joy when life starts to flow, and when it does, you just smile, cause now you know. I spent a long time running, I never knew then what I know now. That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds then, and we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around.
Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds. Whatever grows will grow.
When it grows, it grows.
Whatever dies will die.
And when it dies, it dies. Come on.
Works will
If it works, it works.
Whatever flies will
Let it fly, let it
Whatever
fly.
fails will fail.
When it fails, it
What's meant
fails.
to soar will soar.
And when it soars, it soars.
I am planting seeds. Whatever grows will grow.
Let it grow, let it
Whatever
grow.
dies will
If
die.
it dies, it dies.
Whatever works will
When it works, it works.
Whatever flies
Yeah.
will fly.
Let it fly, let it
Whatever
fly.
fails will
If
fail.
it fails, it
What's meant
fails.
to soar will soar.
Let it soar.
I am planting seeds
and nothing more.
All right. Now it's time for the dedication of the offering. So, we're grateful for these gifts. We're grateful for the abundance that they bring. We bless these gifts. We bless the givers. We see the gifts returning tenfold to the givers and blessing the community and the world. And would you say the dedication with me, please? Divine love through us blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. We are abundantly prosperous. We give thanks. And so it is. Amen. So next Sunday's speaker is Rev Neal Worthington. We're continuing with our theme, the newness of life. And the title of his talk is Tadpoles Refusing to be Frogs. We also have special music next week, Cinnamon Twist. I will share a few announcements now, but there are many things happening. Please check the website at unityofpayson.org or the Monday email newsletter for all of the details. Thank you to Terry for that. So all meetings are on Zoom unless otherwise noted, and love offerings are appreciated. The first of these I'm announcing is Monday, January 3rd, tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. on Zoom. The first event for happy hour. Drop in with your funny bone, your heroes, those folks that have inspired you, and your favorite drink. You get the idea. Let's start our new year with a smile. And second, A Course in Miracles with Rev Neal Worthington, which is Tuesday, January 4th at 6 p.m. It meets the first and third Tuesdays on Zoom. We also have the next slide. Let's Play Cards and Games, Thursday, January 6th at 1 p.m. And this is at Kay's in Payson, and please call to confirm attendance, and the number's on the slide. Okay, and then we have on Saturday, January 8th, The Gathering, Spiritual Knowledge Sharing. This is an informal interactive group activity in person only at Kay's. Again, please call Kay to confirm attendance. On Sunday, next Sunday, we're having a white stone ceremony for the new year, and that will be during the service. And then we have P.S. from Neal.
What we didn't mention, although we've alluded to it, is that we have our annual meeting today. This annual meeting is open to everyone that would like to sit in on it, be it virtual or be it here. If you're a voting member, there are a few things we'll be voting on, but we want to keep you updated about what's happening for Unity of Payson. So please join us. We're going to take about a 10-minute break after this service concludes. We won't stop the Zoom meeting, but we'll just take a little bit of a break. Those of us here, I saw some cookies out there. We might indulge in some cookies. That's exciting. We are being very cautious here at Unity of Payson and in the Payson community as we see the surge of COVID cases. So we are masking up. We have, as a board, have set a limit of which we feel not safe to meet. And we're watching that closely. So pay attention to your emails this week. It could be that we see a surge and we will not meet in person next week. That's a possibility. But do be safe, do observe things, be respectful of others, but respectful of yourself as well. So I think that's all I've got. It's an exciting, you see all the stuff we've got going. Exciting new time for Unity of Payson and for you as well. So we'll go now to our peace song, and we are reinstituting our prayer for protection at the end. We gave that a little bit of a break and it's going to be back. So if you're here in person, please stand and join with us if you're with us online as we close the service with Let There Be Peace.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be. With God as creator, family all agree. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, this is my joyous vow. I take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
And the prayer for protection, wait for the recording and we'll...
The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Thank you so much for being. If you're here online, just stay for a minute. I'd love to greet you. And we will take a 10-minute break and the annual meeting will begin at that time. So I'm looking at my iPad here and I'm seeing, if I get my glasses on, I'll see a little better.